Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of Inclusion Matters podcast with Inclusion Pro Wrestling. This episode is brought to you by Kevin Wasson and Little Car Hospital. Today, we are joined by Jayme Sanford. And of course, as always, I'm joined by the dude who looks like hell warmed over, Principal Tapass. The man who talks like paint ass drying. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. The crippled Messiah. He says he's a wrestling guru, and we don't know why, because all he likes to talk about is that OJ loving Orange Cassidy, who actually just lost his title here not too long ago, and I'm happy about. And then, of course, as the Messiah says, I'm the heartbreaker, and he doesn't know why. Well, it's because I run this show, and I'm better than him, and he knows it. So, without further ado, Jayme, would you like to tell us a little bit about yourself, and we'll get started?
Yeah, so my name is Jayme Sanford. I'm based out of Sacramento, California. I started training to be a pro wrestler March of last year. I made my debut April of this year. I love pro wrestling since I was a little kid. The fact that I'm actually a pro wrestler just blows my mind. Let's see. My ring name is Jayme Shark, and that's a backstory. As a joke, they made me come out to Baby Shark, the song, and the crowd loved it. And I got to the back, and the promoter was like, "That's gonna be your thing now," and I was like, "God damn it, okay, well, my name is Jayme Shark now." So, it's been a fun ride. I started off as a referee. I've refed multiple places. Being a referee is definitely humbling to see a whole new perspective to the wrestling business. But being a pro wrestler is where my heart is at, and I love doing it. Yeah, that's it. That's all I got right now.
Very nice. So who were some of your wrestling heroes growing up?
So my first memory that I have, and I laugh about it now, was my first favorite was Jeff Hardy. The first memory that I have of watching wrestling is when he lost to CM Punk in the cage match, where he had to retire if he lost. And I remember calling my mom and crying because I thought it was real. Like, I thought he was actually had to retire. So some of my favorites growing up is Jeff Hardy. Obviously Undertaker. When I started watching like old school wrestling, Bret Hart was my ultimate favorite. Let's see. I have a lot of favorites. But the one that I looked up to the most was people like Jeff Hardy or Rey Mysterio because they were the underdogs. My current favorite would probably have to be. I know a lot of people don't like him, but I really like MJF. I love his heel work. His heel work is top tier. Yeah. Yeah, that's who my favorites were growing up. Mainly Jeff Hardy.
Well, I can relate to the crying and when something happens on wrestling and you think it's real. Because when I'm a huge Hulk Hogan fan and have been since I was like a little kid, like that was the guy that got me into wrestling. So when Hulk Hogan turned to the NWO,
Oh yeah.
like I was bawling like a baby because I was like, no, there's no way Hulk Hogan could be a bad guy, right? That's not.
Oh yeah, no, that was definitely a moment that shocked the world.
I mean, let's be honest, Messiah. Let's be honest, Messiah. You still cry like a baby over little things too.
That's true. I'm a very emotional person, so
Yeah. we've had you crying like a baby on this podcast a couple of times, if I remember right.
Not on air, but yes.
But my question to you, good sir, is what is your pre-match and post-match routine?
Oh, okay. So I haven't been in the business very long. My pre-match, before a match, I usually, you can usually see me in the corner, just thinking of the match in my head, just staying to myself mainly. Pre-match, I usually don't eat anything. Literally, it consists of energy drinks. That's my breakfast for that day. So like pre-match, I'll go through the match and I'll usually just stay to myself until my match is up, and then like as soon as I go through that curtain, the fans going crazy just it makes me do better, I guess, if that makes sense. Like it just because I usually get really nervous and stressed before a match, but like as soon as I go through that curtain, the stress and nerves go away. Post match, I shake everyone's hands that was involved in the match. I thank everybody, and then I go to my promoter and my coaches and ask them what I could do better. Because if you think there's nothing you can work on, then you're not doing it right. So I know I always have something I need to work on, and I usually go to my coach and ask what I can do better, and hopefully improve from that. And then I share a beer with some of the boys in the locker room. But yeah, that's about it. Thanks for that question, by the way.
Yeah.
All right, Tap, what you got?
All right. How can you base what? Let me rephrase this. What's your style of wrestling based off of a high flyer, a powerhouse, technical wrestler?
Huh. So the way that I was trained is mainly technical wrestling, and I've been in love with technical wrestling for a long time. Bryan Danielson is by far my favorite. That's why I said like Bret Hart growing up was my favorite. Technical wrestling is where my heart's at. I have never gone to the top rope. I don't plan on it. The craziest spot that I've done was this past match when I did it was like a not Tower of Doom, but me and my partner suplex someone from the top, from the middle rope, whatever. That was the craziest thing I've done. When I was younger, I was really into like death match wrestling, but I've never done it and I don't plan on it. But yeah, no, technical wrestling is where my heart's at and will always be. And I'm not a powerhouse at all. Like there's someone in our locker room sometimes that's like he's legit like 7 feet tall. I'm just what? But, yeah, no, technical wrestling is my style. Like
So we like gotcha. So how'd your finisher come to be?
So my finishers are all over the place. The one I use right now, or try to use, is the double arm DDT. But lately I've been just finishing with a quick roll up from behind. There's a couple of moves that I want to do, but I have to learn how to do them safely first. One of them is the curb stomp. The curb stomp is one of my moves I've been wanting to do for like a long time. The double arm DDT is just it's simple, and John Moxley is also one of my favorites, and so I kind of took it from him. Just the style is more like when Drew McIntyre used to use it as his finisher.
Okay, yeah.
but I don't wrap my legs around. I swing my legs to the right. Yeah, double arm DDT is just super simple and safe and quick. It's a quick finisher. You don't want anything too slow or fancy. So, yeah, double arm DDT is my finisher.
Got ya. All right, Heartbreaker, what do you got?
In your personal opinion, who's the best wrestler turned actor?
Oh shit. Oh. Probably gonna get a lot of hate for this, but The Miz. He just his style. If not The Miz, I remember I saw a movie with Hulk Hogan in it. I can never remember the name of the movie. Had the Undertaker in there for. He was one of the bad guys.
Suburban Commando.
Thank you. That was one of my favorite movies growing up. Like current, I would have to like The Miz or just because it fit his style. Kane and See No Evil. That was definitely his style, so I think he played that really well. Yeah, Kane or The Miz. Sorry, I'm a little banged up from my last match. But yeah, Kane or The Miz is my answer.
Got ya. All right, Tap, what you got?
All right. What? Since you brought that up, what is your worst injury you sustained in your career so far?
Ooh. It didn't happen during a match. It happened during training. I was seated down. Someone went to hit a drop kick, and they landed straight on my my leg, and it kind of just bent my leg the wrong way.
Ooh.
It was either that or it was not an injury, but it's this chop that I took on Saturday. My soul left my body for like 2 seconds when I took it. It was insanely loud and it hurt so bad for like 5 seconds. But yeah, so like the way the guy landed on my leg, it made my leg turn like it wasn't supposed to. And like it hurt for a good minute and I wasn't able to be 100% for like a couple weeks. That one, I'm trying to remember if there's any other ones. Oh, I lost my tooth. I took a super kick when I was a referee once, and I didn't protect my face, and it knocked one of my bad teeth out. That's probably the sickest thing that I've taken is a super kick, and lost my tooth because of it. Yeah, I haven't done anything. Like I said, I don't do any like suicide dives or crazy moves like that. So luckily, I haven't broken any bones yet. Knock on wood, if I can find any wood around here. But yeah, the super kick, because I lost a tooth, would probably be the worst one. Yeah.
So we like to do a lot of top 5 questions. So our first one's going to be your top 5 male wrestlers of all time.
Oh, I knew this question was going to come up. Okay. Oh, God, there's so many good ones. All right. Bret Hart. Shawn Michaels. I'm trying to think of like current ones too that can be up there. I don't want to just go old school. More current. Bryan Danielson. Even though he's been around for a while. Number 2. Jon Moxley. 1. Who's my number 1 favorite? That's a hard question. Number one favorite. That is super hard. I'm sorry, guys. I'm trying to.
No, you're okay.
Edge. Edge is my number one all favorite. It took me a minute, but yeah, Edge has always been one of my favorites. I loved him as a good guy, bad guy. Edge all the way, number one. Yeah.
That's a good list. All right, Heartbreaker, what do you got?
I'm going to spare him with the top fives for a minute because I happen to like the guy, unlike you, Messiah, who talks like paint drying. So my question is, what's the best advice that you've taken from your trainer, and do you still use that advice today?
So it's actually, I think it's called an acronym or something. It's KISS. Keep it simple, stupid.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of like guys that like to do spot after spot after spot after spot after spot after spot. But keeping it more simple will get the fans more interested. Like I said previously, I don't do a lot of moves. In general, I don't do a lot of moves. I keep everything simple. I keep it to technical wrestling. If I'm a bad guy, I just keep it to simple heat. It's just the simpler the better. And every time we have a match, we're always told to slow down and not speed through everything because that's when things get sloppy. But no, keep it simple, stupid has definitely been something stuck in my head since I started training. That's a good question, though. I really like that question. Yeah, no, keep it simple. Doing things too complex gets messy sometimes. But yeah. KISS, keep it simple, stupid.
So for the record there, boys, he likes two of my questions to none of yours. So there you go.
I'm starting to
And
see
you
why
can-
you're called the Heartbreaker.
And you can see which one has the ego in this podcast, as he had to point that out before he went on to the next question.
Well, technically it's not my question. I believe it's either yours or Tap Ass's. So I don't care. Whoever.
All right. We've got to ask this question so many times, and we've only got one outrageous answer to this. What is your favorite cookie or snack?
Oh, shit. My favorite cookie is white macadamia nut. My favorite snack. Holy crap. When I used to eat a lot of like snackish foods. The flavor blasted goldfish was my favorite.
Oh.
You don't hear me? Okay.
There we go. Yep.
Yep, you're good. That was such a good snack. Your internet cut out.
Flavor blasted goldfish was my all-time favorite growing up.
Okay, now we all buffered. So now that we're all back,
Either that or like Uncrustables. I love Uncrustables. I still do. But yeah, my favorite cookie is white macadamia, and my favorite snack is Uncrustables.
very nice. So if you had a dream opponent from any generation, no questions asked, who would it be and why?
Whew. Jesus Christ. Hard-hitting questions. Goddamn. If I could have any dream opponent. It's a lot. You said from any generation?
Yep, any generation.
I would probably do Bret Hart from WWF. because both of my style came from watching him, and he was an idol of mine growing up, and I feel like we would match each other's in-ring pace, and yeah, I feel like it would be a pretty good match. If I had to choose, it would be Bret Hart. Yeah, Bret
Very
Hart.
nice.
All right. Let's see here. I don't really want to do a top 5 because he and I are such on a good rapport. I don't really want to do anything to upset him. So, so let's see here. Who's been your toughest opponent to date?
Oh, he's an indie wrestler. He's been all over. His name is Daniel Torch. He's been around for a while, but his style is like so much different than mine. He calls like a lot of spots beforehand, and the only reason why I say he's the toughest is because like he's such a good worker in the ring and in the back. He's such a good worker. It was hard for me to keep up with all the spots that was called, and yeah, this is because he's really fast at everything. It was hard for me to catch up, but it was still a really good match. Like I said, his style was a lot different from mine, so I would probably say that was the toughest. Or this last match I had on Saturday, which was a tag team match. That was the toughest because I was extremely nervous because I was facing my coach. And it was my first tag team match in the company that I trained with. And it was just a lot to remember. Not a lot to remember, but we were kind of short on time, so we weren't able to do everything that we talked about. And it was just... So time crunch was probably the most difficult part about that match. But it's probably either of those two.
All right, Tap, you're up.
Alrighty. If you could pick one manager to be managed by, who would your manager be and why?
Jimmy Hart. Because me and his... I feel like our energies are the same. I'm also mainly like... I know he was like a heel manager too, but I'm mainly a face. So I feel like with also my gimmick, I think it'd be pretty funny. But yeah, no, Jimmy Hart, just because his energy and stuff just similar to mine, and I feel like it would pair really well together.
Well, I'd have to agree with your gimmick and Jimmy Hart being a very interesting connection, because having Jimmy Hart like do a promo about somebody that comes out to like Baby Shark would be hilarious.
Oh, that would be great. I would love to see that. That'd be awesome. But yeah, no, Jimmy Hart, definitely.
My question is, since you're such a big Bret Hart fan, do you think that WWE will ever do a women's Iron Man match? And if so, who would be in it?
Another what? I'm sorry.
Women's Iron Man match, since that was one of Bret Hart's better matches at WrestleMania. Do you think WWE would do a women's version of that? And
No,
if so, who would you put in it?
I would love to see that, to be honest. I think that would be really cool if they did like a 60-minute women's Iron Man match. Who would I want to see in that match? Probably Becky Lynch and Rhea Ripley.
Ooh.
I think those two would be a good match for an Iron Man match at least. They're both really tough, mentally and physically, and yeah, those two. Rhea and Becky.
Nice.
All right, it's time for me to go into my heel persona, I guess, and ask the top 5 questions. There we go. So, here we go. We want to know, or I should say, Tapass and Messiah want to know more so than me because, you know, I can still spin this off to be the cool, awesome person that I am. They want to know your top 5. They want to know your top 5 tag teams of all time.
Oh God. Okay. I hate top 5 questions. Damn it. All right. This is in no particular order. The Hardys, Edge and Christian, the Midnight Express, let's see. That's 3. Dang it. I lost track. Hold on. Sorry. The Rock and Roll Express and the Rockers. That's 5.
Good list.
And just so you know, they make me ask these questions. They write everything. So.
Yeah.
That is not true because I can go on record and say because of my disability, I can't write period and be like chicken scratch. So try that again, heartbreaker.
And my spelling, and in my defense, my spelling is bad.
I've got it on good authority. You guys are the ones that write all these questions. So go ahead, Mr. Tap. Your turn.
You mentioned the Midnight Express. Which member do you think is most deserving of a Hall of Fame induction in the WWE?
Bobby. Bobby Eaton. I actually, before I made my debut, I was going to order a custom Bobby Eaton shirt that I wanted to wear to the ring because I was watching him a lot. I haven't watched him recently. I've been doing a lot of research on like single wrestlers, like underdogs. But to answer your question, I think Bobby Eaton should.
And I totally agree with that one.
Go ahead, Messiah. Ask your question.
So you brought up underdogs. In your opinion, who's the most underrated wrestler in wrestling today?
Underrated?
Yeah.
Ooh. Damn. Another good question. Underrated. There's a lot of underrated. Wow, that is probably the hardest question. Let's see. Again, probably The Miz. The Miz is highly underrated. He puts in the work. Like I was saying earlier, but to keep it simple, he hasn't really had many injuries. He's fantastic on the mic. His in-ring thing is good. If I had to choose anybody else, and I'm so sorry that he just recently got released, Dolph Ziggler, he is highly underrated. There's a lot of them. I mean, there's people like Shelton Benjamin. Yeah, Mine would probably be Dolph or The Miz.
Very nice. All right,
All right.
Heartbreaker.
Let's flip the script. Most overrated.
Most overrated is probably. Oof, that's a really hard question, actually. Another hard question. God damn it. Overrated. Nia Jax. I'm sorry. Nia Jax is so overrated right now.
I'd have to agree, honestly.
Yep.
She is super overrated. And the fact that she keeps causing injuries to people is just not good. Yeah, no, she is definitely the most overrated. That's my answer.
I would agree. And I think it's a crime that they're pushing her for the heavyweight championship when they have so many talented women on Raw.
For
as far as like the WWE goes.
Oh, for sure.
Well, I mean, is it really that much of a shame? Because, I mean, isn't her cousin a world champion right now?
Yes, but that doesn't mean she should be. My cousin
Roman
can
Reigns is like so much top tier than Nia Jax is.
My cousin can own the Seattle Mariners. That doesn't mean I'm the next Ken Griffey Jr.
Well, in your eyes, it would be. But moving on. Okay, Principal Tap. Mr. Ass. Your
Alrighty.
question.
Yeah, I do. The most oddball tag team of all time.
Ooh. Most oddball tag team. Oh, what was their name? The Headbangers. That was the most oddball tag team ever. They were like such an interesting tag team, and it's either them or the Bushwhackers. Rest in peace. But the Bushwhackers. It's either one of those two. Every time I saw those guys, it just made me laugh.
Yep. Although the one thing I'll give credit to the Headbangers on, you have to give credit to any tag team that's willing to wear like a traffic code bra like they did when they were at the Royal Rumble 2000.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to do that in front of millions of people, thousands of people, more power to you. I gotta give you credit for that.
Yeah. That was interesting for sure.
And before before Messiah asks the next question, I think he needs to thank our sponsors.
Thank you. I'd like to thank, as the Heartbreaker said earlier, Kevin Wasson from American Family Insurance, Bob's Little Car Hospital, American Tarps Rugged Made, El Ranchero Mexican Restaurant in Longview, Bruno's Pizza in Longview, Los Jalapenos Taqueria, Twin City Bank, the CARE program, which stands for Community Action Reaching Everybody. And you can find the lady that's in charge of that on Facebook, and her name's Becky Bernhardt. Precision Power Washing, and Bruce Nichols Painting for all your painting, pressure washing, and lead removal needs. And you can find him on Angie's. Now, after all that's done, my question is, what is the craziest match you've ever been in?
Craziest match I've ever been in. Luckily, I haven't been in too many crazy ones. The craziest one I was in was probably when I was a referee, and actually, there's two, like crazy as in the aspect of I can't believe I'm in this situation crazy. When I refereed a tag match that had Gangrel in it, that was
Whoa.
crazy because Gangrel was one of my favorites. Crazy as in chaotic is that same night I refereed a. There's 3 tag teams or 4 tag teams in a basically hardcore match, and there was chairs flying in the first 5 minutes of it. Uh, that was a crazy match to see in person. Like I said, I haven't had any crazy wrestling matches that I've been a part of. Like the biggest one was probably the lumberjack match I was a part of this past Saturday. That was pretty chaotic. Yeah, I haven't done anything too crazy yet. So probably the lumberjack match that I've been involved in wrestling wise.
Got ya. All right, Heartbreaker.
I'll make him go back and think. So, you remember the Eugene gimmick?
Yeah.
Do you think the Eugene gimmick would work in wrestling today?
No. That's because I feel like people now are too sensitive. And also, I just don't see it working in general with the WWE now. Back in like the Attitude Era days, it worked really well. Like back in just that time area. But me personally, I feel like it would not work today in the WWE. Like I said, I just kind of feel like people are a little too sensitive. Not sensitive, but like I just think, I don't know if you know what I'm trying to say, but
Mm-hmm.
I just don't think it would work for multiple aspects and reasons, especially with the merge that WWE just did with the UFC. So that's my answer.
All right, Principal Tap, what you got?
Okay, I might get a little heat from this, but I'm going to ask it anyways. If one of us was to accept a Kindle shot
Oh, jeez.
from a female producer, would you pay money to see it?
If I saw one of you get hit with a candlestick,
Yeah.
Sorry, heartbreak.
Sorry, no, Messiah.
See, let me explain that story. See, but I'm gonna have to back up for a minute. We're actually starting our own promotion called Inclusion Pro Wrestling
Oh, okay.
down in Washington State in Kelso, and there's a lady who's the first owner / promoter in Washington, and she's been on the podcast a few times, and I went heel on her a few times and ran my mouth. So now at the show, I'm gonna get hit with a Kindle stick.
Oh, fun. Well, I can't say anything because I have not been hit with a candlestick yet, but I wish you the best of luck, and I'm glad it's you and not me.
Sorry, I just think it's funny you thought it should be the heartbreaker over me before anybody said anything.
Like I said, I wish you the best of luck on that. If it's worse than what I took on Saturday with that chop, then I'm so sorry. Yeah.
there's something he's neglecting to tell you too. It's not just a kendo shot. It's also a nunchucks shot as well.
A nunchuck spot?
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't know how to keep my mouth shut.
he's got to learn to keep. Yeah.
You are insane, dude. Like, kendo shot is fine, but nunchucks? That's gonna suck. I'm sorry.
He doesn't know how to keep his mouth shut.
Yeah, you only live once.
Okay, so anyways, I guess that makes it your question, oh Lord and Master Messiah.
Wow. Never been presented that way before. So my question is, of all the wrestlers that you've had the ability, actually, I have a better one. What's the biggest difference that you see between refereeing and wrestling since you've done both?
Refereeing is harder than being a wrestler. Being a referee, you have to be out there more than once a night. You have to remember every single ending to matches. You have to remember spot to a match. There was one show where I was literally the only ref that made it, and so I had to remember like 6 match endings and not mess it up. And so that is the main difference. It's so much harder because while you're a referee, you have to communicate with the wrestlers, you have to communicate with the promoter in case there's an injury that happens, which has happened when I was refereeing a match once. There's just so much more going on when you're a referee. It's so much harder than being a wrestler, in my opinion. Yeah, it's just the aspect that communication, making sure people are safe, and remembering all the details of the match.
That's a good answer. I like that. I like that so much. I like that so much. I think we're going to put a spin on this.
Oh no.
No, it's a good spin, and I think it's something the Messiah and Principal would want to know too. So you spoke about it's the referee's job to keep everybody safe. So in your opinion, should the referee that concussed Moxley be fired from AEW?
Ooh.
So there's different aspects of that too. Yeah, the referee should have stopped the match. But I've also heard reports that Moxley kept telling the referee that he was okay. But if I kept continuing to see signs that he wasn't, I would eventually hold up the X. The X. Mistakes happen, you know. I made a mistake as a ref. There was a spot where this guy took a crossbody and he took it wrong, but his leg just landed the wrong way and he basically tore something in his knee. And that was the first injury that I ever dealt with as a referee. And so I didn't throw up the X immediately, but the match didn't continue. He was on the ground for most of it. It's like mistakes happen, but if you're going to see obvious signs of someone struggling and not put a stop to the match, you should definitely get in trouble. But it's hard to determine if the referee should be fired, because if you ask a wrestler if he's okay during a match and he tells you yes, then there's nothing you can really do. It's not like UFC. If you see someone getting their ass whooped, you can stop the match. So I think he should get in trouble, but I don't think he should get fired.
Another good answer.
All right, Tap.
If you could book a WrestleMania card, 6 matches, any promotion, any generation, indies included, what will your 6 matches be?
He's gonna hate you after that one.
Oh my God, there's so much to think about. All right. Opener, I would do. Start off the night hot. I would do. Wow. There's so many matches to think about. All right. First match would be. Oh my God. Ricochet versus Bull Ospreay.
Ooh.
Second match. China versus Becky Lynch. Third match. Tag team match would be FTR versus the Hart Foundation. Fourth match. Jesus Christ. Shawn Michaels versus Undertaker versus Triple H. Fifth match. Oh man. I would do The Undertaker versus any indie. Hold on, I gotta think about this. Undertaker. I would do Undertaker versus Owen Hart, to be honest.
Ooh.
And my final match. Boy. John Cena versus Hulk Hogan.
Nice. And by the way, we can send you Principal Tap's address if you want to send him a strong letter for that question.
That was a lot of brain capacity I had to use.
That's one of the least favorite questions that asked on all of the podcasts, and he continues to ask it today. So
it got me to think, so that was cool.
Gosh, I don't want to do another top 5 right behind that, so let me think for a minute.
If you do another top 5, it's completely fine.
Top 5 female wrestlers of all time.
Shit. Oh boy. Fudge. Trish. Alundra Blaze. Becky Lynch. Jesus Christ. Lita. And China.
That's a good list. All right, Heartbreaker, you're up.
So many good questions, and yet so many good top 5s. But I think we'll do this one. What's the best advice you'd give to an upcoming wrestler or manager?
Damn. I've never thought about that because I'm still new to this. If I can give any advice, like I brought up earlier, keep it simple. Don't beat yourself up over bad matches or just if you're a manager, don't beat yourself up because you messed up. Everyone messes up, and you just take the experience and you learn from it for the next time. Not every match is going to be perfect. I know I've had my fair share of pretty terrible matches. But I just learn from it and I continue to train and continue to get better so the next match will be better than the last. So just my advice would just be don't be in your head too much. Just learn and move on.
Got ya. All right, Principal Tap, you're up.
Okay, I'm actually gonna put a little twist on this one.
Oh God, you always do.
Your top favorite Survivor Series moment.
Because I brought him up earlier and my brain is not working after all these top 5 questions. Probably the one that Dolph Ziggler won, the Survivor Series match. It just shows how much dedication that he has for wrestling, and I'm extremely upset that he got released. But that'd be the one that's on the top of my head right now. The one that Dolph Ziggler won, the Soul Survivor, and the one Steen came into.
There you go. So, speaking of Dolph Ziggler, if you were going to give him some advice on where he should go next after his non-compete clause is over, where would you suggest he should go?
I know a lot of people are expecting AEW because his brother works there. Honestly, for Dolph, I would probably put him at Ring of Honor. Ring of Honor has been one of my favorites. But just that style that Ring of Honor brings, I feel like Dolph would be a really good fit. And I feel like Ring of Honor needs more really good talent right now. So I would definitely say Dolph can go to Ring of Honor.
It's a good choice. All right, Heartbreaker, what do you got?
Well, I'm going to be nice, and I'm just going to ask my final question now and let you all fight over the final top 5 questions. Where, sir, can we find you on social media, and when is your next match?
So my Instagram is at just Jayme Shark, no spaces. So you can find me on there. My next match will be this Saturday in Sacramento, California. It's for a charity show. I don't remember the name of it on top of my head. The show itself is called Wrestling for Hope. It's at a church that helps people get off the streets and helps with drug addictions and stuff like that. So we're putting on a little show for them. I will be posting the location of that stuff on my Instagram. I just don't remember the name of it off the top of my head right now. But that's where you can find me next in Sacramento, California this Saturday.
Very nice. All right, Tap, what do you got?
All right, for my final question, what is your opinion on the Danielson and Starks match? And do you think he's going to be 100% to face his opponent in Seattle?
So I haven't seen like the full match of their, was it the Texas death match that they had?
Yes.
Yeah.
Did he get injured, or I'm not really up to date with that match yet. He's really prone to getting injured, and I think he's facing Zack Sabre Jr. Correct?
Yes.
Yes.
That match is going to be a match that I'm going to watch because that is a dream match of mine. I should have said that earlier, but even if he's not 100%, I still feel like, because he puts his whole heart into wrestling. I know he said this year will probably be his last year of wrestling. When is the match again? I'm sorry.
October. The one
Zach.
with Zach is October 2nd or 1st. I think it's October 1st.
Even if, like I say, maybe he's not 100%, I feel like they're still going to put on a banger of a match. Their two styles clash really well. Zack Sabre Jr. is another super underrated indie wrestler. I really hope he is 100%. Because I just know he recently got injured in one of his other matches. But yeah, no, I think that's still going to be a really good match, 100% or not. I just hope he has a speedy recovery.
And my final question is, I know you said you just started not that long ago in wrestling, but when your career ends, what's the mark that you want to leave on in your career?
Like the mark I want to leave on wrestling?
Yeah.
To show people that no matter what people say to down you, if you put in the work, put in the effort, you can achieve anything you want. I was told to never, that I was probably not going to make it as a wrestler. And then here I am making my debut. So I just want to show people that no matter what, you can achieve anything if you just put your mind to it. And to just give hope to people that need the hope. And just put smiles on people's faces at the end of the day.
Very good answer. And I'm glad you said it that way. The reason we're doing inclusion pro wrestling is I had that same experience. I have cerebral palsy, and so I'm in a wheelchair. And like 20 years ago, I went to a wrestling school in Kelso and was told that I would never do anything in wrestling because wrestling and wheelchairs don't really mix. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so they made me a commentator, but they did that because they wanted to make me shut up because I never stopped going to their place. And it took me 20 more years, but I was able to buy a ring. And the whole point of putting on Inclusion Pro Wrestling is to do exactly what you just said. To not let anybody else be told that they can't do something and to give them a place to like live their dream. Like
Yeah.
whether it's for like 5 minutes and you just want to see what it's like and it turns out not to be what you want to do, that's fine. At least you got to live that for 5 minutes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, for sure. I totally agree with that.
So, the man who thinks he's the Terminator now, do you want to close?
I don't know. Are you all gonna shut up and actually let me do a closing tonight, or are you guys gonna argue more? That's what I thought. Okay.
Well, since you said no, continue.
Well, seems how we put the Messiah in timeout. We'd like to thank Jayme tonight for joining us. And as always, I'm the heartbreaker because I'm better than you. and everybody should know that by now. Principal Tap, you can go and put yourself to bed because you sound fucking horrible and you look like hell over. Messiah? Dude, I know you just had surgery to remove something out of your side, but man, they should have removed something out of your... Yeah, they should have spaded you.
Come on, you can get.
Whoa! Now that is power. Yes, that's right. They should have neutered you while they had the chance. Anyways.
Such a bad pun and caused the whole system to crash for a minute.
Anyways, again, we'd like to thank Jayme for joining us tonight, and you can see us again tomorrow night. Maybe. Depends on how Principal Tap feels. So until then, good night, everybody. And Messiah,
Good night.
please keep your appointment to get your host and co-host baited and neutered. Good night.
Good night.
Audience.